Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Tim Lankford, and I welcome you to our every Friday conference call. Every Friday at 11 a.m., I'm going to welcome you with the following, that I've got plans for you. I say that with a smile on my face because I'm excited to be able to hear from you, from so many of you during the week that in one way or form or another, you pick up on the following encouragement. I'll call it encouragement that's not mine. It's a very, very old encouragement if you know some of your history. But the encouragement that I'm going to say to you is, I've got plans for you. My plans for you, for your prosperity. It's never to harm you. Never in any of my plans. My very incredible assistant, Elisha, part of the other team members that are on this plan for you include my good confidant, Jim Meixner. Our plans are there for your prosperity, but I'm going to even go back and emphasize even more that we have very, very fundamental planned out steps for your future and to give you a hope. I love that. I want to put that mantra up. I need that. I need that on a placard so that every time that you connect with this Tuesday at 11 a.m., every Tuesday Eastern Time, we're here for our webinar. Every Friday at 11 a.m., we are here for our conference call. And the phone that you probably heard just ring was probably our guest speaker that I told him I would call him, and I'm going to do that just right now and let Paul Michael be in on the front of this call. He is squeezing us in, guys. This young man is out making it happen. So that's the key. Well, hey, Paul Michael, I was just talking you up. If you can stand by for a few minutes.
Just tell me when, all right?
Fantastic. But this young man, not even 6 months old in this business, he has made it happen. I want you to do everything you can to be able to pick from his brain and to be able to emulate, duplicate his results. I always talk about R&D. If you've got much of an engineering background, you may understand those letters to represent, or may have learned those letters to represent research and development and develop. Well, I want you to put a new spin to that. I want you to say, wait a minute, R&D in this world is rob and duplicate. Is that fair? So I want you to rob from Paul Michaels, the way that he's connecting with his families, and he's running on the same leads that you and I are running on. Yes, I still run in this business, both on the mortgage protection and the our federal employee benefit program. But I want you to be able to undock your question box, and I see someone. Yep, you are right, Linda. That's exactly right. I want to be able to have you duplicate these same type of results. And some of you folks have. You're going to hear from Elisha on our leaderboard, not only folks who have been able to go out and protect persons, what we call safe money, by writing an annuity, but also folks who have sent in a request. I don't have one sitting on my desk right now, but a mortgage protection request or a request for you to explain to an employee his or her benefits. And when we go out and sit with these folks and share with them, hey, I found an opportunity to make your money work harder for you, all bets are off. You've just become intrinsically valuable to that person because you have key phrase. You can incorporate this into your presentation. I am here to help you find a way to make your money work harder for you. Isn't that awesome? I'm here to help you make your money work harder for you. To start things off, I'm going to ask of our wonderful assistant, If you've not personally reached out to speak with her on the phone or through email, she's doing a phenomenal job for our agents. And Alicia will go over our leaderboards for this last week, this really the first week of October. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Miss Alicia.
Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. Here we go with your leaderboard for the first week of October. That's strange, first week of October already. These top 2 producers have submitted annuities totaling $240,000. Number 2 spot, we have Thomas Fabeda, 2 annuities, $240,000. And your number 1 top annuity producer is Mark Huber, 1 annuity, $259,650. Great job to both of you. And now we'll move on to the top 15 life producers for the first week of October. All of these agents have written a minimum of 1,100 in business this week. At the number 15 spot, we have Stephen Crane, 2 applications, $1,127. Number 14 is Mark Landis, 1 application, $1,338. At number 13, Ginger Barnes, 1 application, $1,541. At number 12, we have Paul St. Laurent, 6 applications, $1,955. At number 11, Leonore Cortez, 1 application, $2,397. And now for your top 10. At number 10 is Tim Lankford, 1 application, $2,674. Richard Doug Voigt comes in at number 9 with 1 app, $4,266 in premium. At number 8, we have Paul Michael Youngmill, 8 applications, $5,354. At number 7, Danielle Byrne, 6 applications, $6,992. Number 6, Brian Elston, 3 applications, $7,013. And now for the top 5 life producers for the week. At number 5, we have Vern Barktel, 5 applications, $7,740. At number 4, Josh Civic, 12 applications, $8,770. At number 3, Matt Dwortsky, 3 applications, $8,900. At number 2, Mark Huber, 2 applications, $10,200. And your number 1 top life producer for the first week of October is John Gullickson, 3 applications, $10,514. Wow, John, way to make it happen. To the rest of the top 15 this week, we say congrats to all of you as well. If you guys need anything, you can call me, 800-388-8342, extension 178, or email me at Elisha, E-L-I-S-H-A, @gordonmarketing.com. Back to you, Tim.
Fantastic. Thank you, Miss Alicia. $10,000, guys, in 1 week. John is definitely one of the folks. Let me just go over a short list. I want to put a little bit more to the to this list for next week. But just off the top of my mind, we've got 3 who have already qualified for our San Diego trip. That's for an agent who's running a contract through us, and who they have personally written at least $30,000 of issue paid premium on at least 25 applications. Remember, guys, that's from January 1. So if you're just getting started with us, you heard the numbers. We've got 10 agents on track to do over $100,000 issue paid business with us, with really a half a dozen of them just getting started within the last 6 months. The 3 that I want to do a shout out, if a 50-year-old can say that, for folks who have already qualified for the little incentive trip that we're going to take you and a guest to San Diego. It is January 9th, 10th, and 11th. So when it's kind of a yucky weather in a lot of part of the country, especially in central Indiana, I'm looking forward to meeting some of our agents in sunny San Diego at an exclusive resort there, and 25 apps, 30,000 just here before December 31st. Miss Lily Cortez, she's going to go from Hawaii to San Diego. Mr. Doug Boyd, which is going to go, it'll be a little bit yucky there in Kansas where Doug lives. He's going to go over to San Diego. Mr. Jay Teague, he's in Central Indiana. So Jay and I will probably be on the same plane heading out to San Diego. Those three, as well as Mark Huber, Eric Coons, John Gillickson, all of those folks are on track to, if you're in front of your computer, you see going past the slides for our incentive trip in May 12th through the 16th in the Dominican Republic, Punta Cana. You want to be there. You heard how many folks, and guys, it is not that difficult. If you're running, you'll hear it from Paul Michael, somebody who's been running leads for 5 months. He put up another 5, and this wasn't even his biggest week. Just this last week, over $5,000 this week. So we've got more than 10 weeks left. So if he just stays on that track, and he never did anything prior to that, a new agent with us following that track. So if you've got a question, undock your question box. That's why we use this GoToWebinar platform, so that we can have our 40, 50, 60 agents on this call, and wouldn't doubt if we crept over 100. It's terrible to try to unmute each one. So what I'm going to do is have you put a question in, and then I can read it to Paul Michael. 60,000 issue paid by December 31st will take you and a guest to Punta Cana. Stay at the Hard Rock for 5 days. Wow, you don't want to miss that. Or is that just 4 days? If you want to spend an extra night there, that would be on you. But my wife and I will probably spend an extra 3 nights there. Airfare there and back will still be paid by us. Those 4 nights will still be paid by us. Food and drinks those 4 days will be paid by us, meaning Gordon Marketing, if you qualify. Guys, I want you to hear from Paul Michael, and he's squeezing us in before his 11:30 appointment, and I want you to hear how that he's connecting with his clients. But first, Paul Michael, would you mind just sharing a little bit about your lifestyle? I mean, this is not your only activity when you're out writing business. You're also, I think, studying for what, another bachelor's, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me all right?
Oh, you're coming through great.
All right, excellent. And number one, just to start off, I am no longer 30 calls to have to reschedule for 2, so I have plenty of time, and they literally live 5 minutes from me.
Oh, fantastic.
All right, so we're good, just so you know on that.
Thank
you. Yes, sir. I'm in my last semester right now. I'm picking up a second bachelor's, my original bachelor's BA in organizational management that I picked up online while I was in the military, and right now I'm finishing my BS in computer science, mainly backdoor software, computer programming, and yeah, that's my other main activity. I do some music on the side and on the weekends and stuff like that, but just pays bills. I like it. So when you're not writing $5,000 in a week, you're finding other things to keep you busy. Most definitely, yes, sir.
What are some of the things that you like about it? Because according to Josh Sivak is how I know Paul Michael. According to Josh, you're running both mortgage protection and final expense leads. Is that correct?
To be upfront with you, I did. I kind of transferred from one to the other. I just started doing mortgage protection in May, and it was a little bit rough to start with, just because in May, the semester ended, and then I had to take a physics class in June. So I literally wrote 0. I had a pretty decent month in May at 15, and then in June I literally wrote $243. So it was a little tough because I don't know if anybody else is taking physics, but for a first-time physics inhabitant, it can be quite difficult. And it was a 6-week course, 5 hours a day, twice a week, and basically covered the whole textbooks, cover to cover. So I couldn't really write any business. And then July, I did very, very well. And then August, September, did pretty decent. So,
Now you're pretty decent. If I remember your numbers right, you're pretty decent. Is over $20,000. I'd say that's pretty
Yes, sir.
decent, Paul.
Well, there was the way, I'm not going to say he talked me into it, but I was talking to Josh, and I said, you know, I gotta make more money. And I was doing about $5,000 a month because I used to do this part-time, and I'd never worked more than about 4 hours a week. And I was making $5,000 a month, which was decent, but I wanted to make some more money. And he said, you know, it's a numbers game. You got to think about it. You usually get about 5 leads a week that you deal with, and you usually, between the 5 leads a week in the course of a month, you usually write $5,000. So if you get more serious and you do more numbers, your closing ratio is probably not going to change, and you'll do the $5,000 that you should do in a the $5,000 that you usually do in a month, you'll do in a week, and that's basically been the formula to me, and not you know, being downtrodden on anyone else, but we all have our own individual goals. $5,000 in a week is okay. My minimum to me should always be $7,500 a week, and then a good week is, you know, well, if you can do like $9,000 or plus in a week, you're assured pretty much greatness, because we all know we're going to come across some people who are excited to do things and get the mortgage protection and take care of their family, but at the end of the day, maybe their bank accounts don't have it. You know what I mean? You're going to come across that every now and again, and you just want to kind of overwrite just in case something like that happens, you know?
When what if we get a little bit more specific with you, Paul Michael? How many leads are you running on, say, like for this week? How many leads did you get last week? What do you expect to?
Last week I got 11 leads. The week before that, I want to say that's 7. Yeah, I think that's 7. I think this week I got 11 leads. Yeah, and you know, I got one more appointment. I mean, so far for this week, I want to say I got a little over $6,000 written for this week, and I have one more appointment. Well, I have one more appointment, and then hopefully the other reschedule does eventually reschedule. But so maybe I'll have 2 more appointments. So I got 2 more opportunities to kick it up to $7,500 for the week. And I'm sorry, I went off track. You just asked how many leads, right? So I assume 11.
No, that
10 or 11 leads.
You're doing exactly what I was hoping you were, to be able to give a little bit backstory on just a simple question. So no, you're absolutely perfect, Paul Michael. Thank you.
Okay.
And then I want to pick from your best week, if I remember correct, from Joshua. Haven't you been over 15,000 in a week?
Yeah, my best week was
Wow.
16,241. And the only reason I remember that, if you guys do remember earlier, I told you I first started doing mortgage protection in May. Then I did literally $243 for June. So I had all the leads backed up, and I wasn't going to waste them. So I do want to say, you know, I do like to give the disclosure that my July was like a bit of an anomaly. I mean, between Josh and I, you know, we keep a little contest going. I was able to beat his record. I did July. I did like, I think 43,271, something like that. But you got to remember, I was working on basically 2 months of leads and squishing them to 1 month. That's why the first week of July was so big. And then I just kept, some of it was luck, some of it was, you know, a little bit of everything. It's numbers games. You can get lucky more often if you do more numbers.
It's amazing how that works out, right? That it is the law of large numbers. You're going to, the diminishing returns, the less you have to call, the less you're going to make. It just is the law of large numbers. So when you had those leads accumulate, so what you're telling me is that you don't always have to have just a brand new lead that came in yesterday in order for you to set that appointment.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. I mean, you're going to get, I don't like to call people stupid, but, you know, you're going to get your occasional person who just gets a bunch of leads, because, you know, we're not the only shop in the world. They get the bunch of leads, and they just fill everything out at once and blast them out. Don't get me wrong. They're usually hard regardless. But then you get the vast majority of who we deal with are intelligent people who get one thing, they send it in, they wait. So they're waiting on you. So you may not always get the opportunity to call right away, but don't be fooled. They are waiting on you, and it's our job to get on the phone and make an appointment because they want the appointment whether they know it or not, because a lot of people don't have any kind of coverage, and I used to be under the impression that you could be overcovered. And Josh had a serious talk with me about that. He said, do you know how much, and I did the research on my own. We talked about it, but then I did the research on my own as well. Josh said you should be technically insured for at least 10 times your annual income. And I actually, after I looked it up and looked at some other professionals, they actually say 15 times your annual income. But the point of the matter is, what I thought was heavily insured, I'm not afraid to say it, I personally have a increasing IUL, and I'm covered for a little bit more than $300,000. But after I put that into perspective, I was a poor student, and that was more than enough coverage. But now soon I'm no longer going to be a poor student, so I need to get probably more coverage. But the point I'm trying to make is everyone needs it. I don't care if they're have $1 billion in coverage. It does not hurt to get more now, because when they do want some more later, it's just going to be more expensive.
Good point. No, absolutely perfect. You're right on to the way that we teach in this business. And if you just Google life insurance that you should cover, especially with a married couple with younger children in the home, you'll see a lot of times that the CFPers, the certified financial planners, are calling for 20 times your annual salary. So yeah, for us to go in and say, let's evaluate this on a 10 or 15 times your salary, you're right on. So I commend you for being younger in the business, but taking that by the horns there. When yours is probably going to be absolutely crazy with trying to work in not only any family obligations, but also study and now running leads. Could you, we've got several agents who are asking about your schedule. When do you call and set appointments?
Okay, well, I'm, for lack of better words, my schedule's kind of militant. I did 4 years in the military, and very thankful. It was the reset button I needed to change my life, be able to afford school. So, and just so you know, 50 is not too old to give a shout out. I'm not giving a shout out to, I'm not 50, but I'm young, but I'm gonna give a shout out to the Navy because they did big things for me, and I'm really appreciative of how they were able to give me a reset button for my life. But I wake up in the morning at 5:30. I do I work out. I have a gym in my house. I work out. I get done at 7. I get my son ready for school. I have a 4-year-old, and I have one on the way due May 14th. And my wife, she works also, but she has to be at work she has an actual schedule. She has to be at work 8:30 to 5:30. So, I take my son to school and everything. And then I usually get home about 8, at which time what I like to do is I like to look at my emails to see my open requirements. Also, I personally, I don't know how your guys' setup is, but the office that I work out of is 15 minutes away. I have a rule that if I'm at home, I am going to be less productive. And that's just me. I know everybody's different, but I'm a technology geek, and I have I have a lot of stuff. So I'm easily distracted at home. So I take a shower, I drink my coffee, and then I actually don't drink my coffee. I just put it in this container. I go to work, and I'm usually there by 9:30 at the latest, 9:30. Go to the office, and even if I don't do anything, then I start doing my paperwork because but usually I don't complete all my paperwork at the client's house. What I usually do is I look for the yeses because I can always, populate the no's later. Pretty much everything's no except the yeses. So you have high blood pressure? Cool. Let's find that on this app. Let's circle it. Let's put yes there. And everything else is pretty much assumed to be no. I get the doctor's information. All the good. But my calls, we're actually doing a switch. We were calling on Monday because I do have, I got class and everything in the middle of the day. So I usually, I try to utilize all my 9 to 5 time to do 9 to 5 things because as we know, when you are in business, these companies, like some companies close at 6, some companies close at 7. So you want to get that stuff done. You want to get your paperwork in. You want to get all that stuff done, because otherwise, once it's 5, 6, 7 o'clock, whenever that particular company closes, your day is over with them. So I do calls. I usually do calls 6 to 9 on Monday, and then Tuesday morning from 9:30 to about noon. And that way I get to hit both the evening and the night, the evening and the daytime. When I do call people, I basically give them a nice block of time. I say, because this semester being my last semester, which is why I was able to take on doing work protection full time, I only have a class on Monday nights from 6 to 9. So basically I usually ditch class. I go in for like the first half an hour and ditch class. That's probably not the best thing to say, but that's what my schedule permits. And I talk to people and I let them know I'll be in the area for the next 2 days from 11 a.m. till 10 p.m. And I'm just looking to sit down with them for about, some time to explain, to make sure I see them in person, to assure that they are in walking health, that they understand how everything works, and that they are indeed the owner of the domicile at, and, I say the address. And I let them know we give you a nice big block. We're talking about, right there, that's 22 hours of time that we can figure out to fit in about 15 minutes with you and your spouse. And I figure if they're not home between 6 and 9, picking up the phone, they're not home between, 9:30 and noon and the next day, then I'm probably not going to catch them super soon. So then I'll do another round of calls, usually either Wednesday mornings, because I literally don't schedule anyone earlier than 11 for the reason of being able to make more calls. So then I'll call again, usually either Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, depending on how things work out. Because I just have a lot of projects and stuff they're always doing. But long story short, I try to call people when I have time, but I won't try to overcall, because overcall and overkill, then your number always shows up. And then I think, in my head, it could be the wrong thought process, but if you call somebody so often, like I'll call back-to-back 4 times, one number. But I'm not going to call the same person the next day, because they're not picking up that time. I don't know if they're going to pick up the next time. And I want to let it breathe a little bit. Like, what is this number that's calling me so many times? But that's about it. I go back to school at 9 p.m., do my work, and I usually at school until about midnight or 1, and then I come home and, start over again.
I want to say probably the most key word or key phrase that I heard you say was, I'm a slave to my schedule. And that is probably the downfall. I've been doing this business much like Josh, a little bit longer than Josh, about at least in the protection field for about 23 years, 24 now. And Josh and I met up about 9 years ago, running specifically mortgage protection and final expense. And what has been our success is being, if you want to say slave, or just being willing to be disciplined, which so often we hate that word, but it's a crucial word, isn't it, Paul Michael?
Oh yeah, hey, you're not telling me anything new. My wife's Jehovah's Witness, and she always says we're slaves to Jehovah.
Okay.
No, I get it. I get
it. If you can implement, and I've shared a couple times on the screen already, if somebody wants to run on Monday and Tuesday, just like Josh, I know has trained you because we were schooled this way so many years ago, you want to set that appointment within 48 hours. Very worst, if you're going to call Saturday morning, and that's where a lot of folks are doing, 9 to noon, 9 to 1 is a wonderful time. If you haven't implemented that in your schedule, guys, and I'll talk to this as the Nation of Agents, 9 to 1 o'clock is a phenomenal time, no matter what you think, to call 9 o'clock in your zone. If you're calling in Virginia Beach, and don't do that out to the West Coast, but in your time zone, 9 to 1 is a phenomenal time to call, whether it's a mortgage protection, final expense, or a federal employee lead. 9 to 1 o'clock and set it for Monday and Tuesday. I know Josh has always been so big on that call Monday and set on Tuesday and Wednesday, but you're coming back saying, I'll call when I have time, and the results are there, guys. There's really no good time to call other than to say it's an appropriate time for you, that it works into your schedule, but then you set that appointment up within 48 hours. A couple other questions, Paul Michaels, if you wouldn't mind.
Not at all. Like I said, I'm no longer in a rush, so God bless.
Fantastic. Dixon was asking, what do you do to eliminate do you do anything kind of upfront to eliminate the objections that may be coming towards the end? Do you do anything, towards the beginning of your presentation to be able to handle those objections?
Are we talking about in the house?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
In the house. Okay, just making sure. Yeah, there's actually a bunch of things I do. What I call it mind reading, and it's not really mind reading, but after you go on enough appointments, there's only so many objections. Let's be honest. First of all, if you walk into everybody's house and said, "Listen, it's going to cost you a penny a month, and you're going to be covering $1 million," everybody would pick up everything. You never make any real money, but everybody, because the AC would be horrible. But the point of the matter is everybody would get everything.
True.
Okay? So the real objection is always money. It's always money. And that's the ideal that I keep in my head because, like I said, I know 100%, I am 100% sure I could walk in and say, listen, it's a penny for $1 million, and they wouldn't care who I was. They wouldn't go through all this BS where people sometimes go, well, where are you from and how do I know you're, you know what I mean? Sometimes they pull that stuff on you, whatever it may be, but there would never be any objection. So there's a couple of things in particular I do. First of all, I love to staple into their head, listen, I must let you know, I cannot assure you I can get you approved. I can only assure you that I can get you the best thing going in the state of Virginia. Okay?
Good.
Number one, that means to them, when it's closing time, I can definitely tell them, listen, I don't care what you want to do. And I do use words like, I don't care. I'm here to cover you, but I'm not a beneficiary. So I'm just going to do my job and get your background done so we can see if it's even an option for you. We call it the $1 million approach or the $1 million house approach. Don't go looking at $1 million houses if you can't get approved by the bank for $1 million loan. So you guys might want to go and talk about this, which is fine. That's why they give you up to 45 days to assign your first plan premium. Just need a date out there. Now, if you wanted to change your auto insurance tomorrow, well, you'd have to go ahead and pay the new company right up front. But they're actually giving you a lot of leeway as far as the plan premium because they got to do a bunch of background on you anyway. Again, I can't assure you that you will be approved. So we'll give you time because we need time too. Let's get the application done, and everything will be smooth from there. Also, if anyone know how to Google, okay? If anyone ever says, well, how do I know you're you or whatever, blah, 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 you make them open up their phone, and you tell them, listen, I want to use your phone, not my phone, because I would say go on the computer, but that's a lot of extra work. Their computer might be off or anything. You don't want to go through all that. Just have them go on their phone, have them go to the internet, they Google producer number, and then the NIPR lookup will be there. All you have to do is have your state number and, your state, press submit, and it'll bring you up, and then you show them your driver's license. That easy, okay? Because you want to get that knocked out of the way quickly, and you never want to evade a question. You never want somebody to be like, how do I know you're you? And you're like, well, I'm an upstanding. No. Just here's the truth. Now let's get over it. Let's get back to the point. The people who, again, you always want to emphasize that you don't know if you can get them approved because when they say they don't want to do it now and they want to think about it, that's why you have the bounce of, well, I'm going to give you time to think about it because, quite honestly, I don't know if I can get you approved. Another thing I do like to say in the beginning when I ask for their prescriptions, I like to say, listen, what prescriptions are you taking? They'll tell me, and I'll go, okay. Well, I'm going to ask this again. What prescriptions are you prescribed? Not just are you taking, where are you prescribed? And then it's the same thing. I'll say, okay, I'm going to ask you one more time because I got to be upfront with you. About 50% of the people I see lie to me. All right, and I'm going to find out. All right, I'm going to do your scope background check. Everything's going to be had. We're going to see everything. We're not going to check your credit score. We can care less about that. But we do care about what kind of shape you're in. Are you on any other prescription? And usually they'll look at me real funny. But that way I can always, it gives a moment of a standstill where they're going to remember that moment. That way when I go back to that, and I say, listen, I understand you guys want to think about it. I'm not trying to push you guys to do it. I'm trying to push you guys to see if you can get approved. Again, 50% of people I see they can't. And we realized that people who don't even want to put in an application don't want to put in an application because they're pretty sure there's something wrong with them and they're trying to get it fixed before they put in their application. So I'm not going to come back to a house where I'm pretty sure something's wrong with you. We've made it protocol not to do so anymore because that's what people used to. 97% of people would either say, well, I can't do it anymore, I can't figure it out, or they pretty much get denied. So it's coming back doesn't help. The application takes about 11 minutes, and I'm already here.
Perfect. Perfect.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
There's Kathy over in Iowa was asking, what do you do for somebody who's not healthy enough to qualify for basically term insurance?
Okay. I have to ask. I hate to answer a question with a question, but Kathy, it does matter if you need a health license. But I'm going to say you always do an underwriting accidental. Always get paid. That's my rule. I have a HIV client that I just saw. I want to say it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. And I tell them, not to sound underhanded, but you want them to be protected. If they have nothing, you want them to be protected. And they're going to get declined. Okay, it was actually a homosexual couple. The one gentleman had HIV. The other gentleman, he was in a coma or something. The two had like 15 medications. So what I did was, on both of them, I took both apps for an accidental, and I told them, listen, you guys are, if I can get you guys approved, you're definitely going to be tabled. Getting tabled always takes longer, which means, and getting tabled just means that it's going to be a little bit more money. So we're going to put the application in a little bit lower. We're going to figure out what kind of options we can give you because they will get back to me about the tabling before they're willing to take out any funds from your account. So I can get back to you guys. But just our protocol is the worst thing that would happen is that you would die while being tabled. If a car accident or something like that, your policy was never enforced. So what I'm going to have to do, keyword have to do, is put in an application for you for an accidental policy as well if it's a protective anything happens in the meantime, just in case. Because the worst thing that could possibly happen is that you're doing all the right things, taking all the right steps, and you happen to die in a car accident while waiting. I hope that's a comprehensive answer, Kevin.
Perfect. And we're going to always teach and preach a little bit of AXI, a little bit of term, a little bit of perm. So I don't mind an accidental with every term application or every mortgage protection application. And then always remember on Gerber as well as Colombian Life, we can go all the way down to age 25 with somebody who was diagnosed with cancer with AIDS just yesterday and get them a guaranteed issue on permanent whole life. Just two other questions.
Real quick, I don't mean to cut you off, Tim.
Sure.
You said that just came out yesterday?
Oh, no. What we, no, they've been around. Gerber's been around forever, but no, Gerber.
No, I mean going down to age 25, because I thought they went to age 50. I'm learning too. I love to learn.
Okay, sure. No, talk to Josh about it. But yeah, Colombian Life will go all the way down to age 25. That's nothing new. But yeah, talk to Josh about that.
Okay, I will. I apologize.
Sure. Oh, no problem at all. Maybe two other questions, and we'll let you be able to get back to your day. Maybe even to set some more appointments. That wouldn't be so terrible, would it?
Not at all.
Fred's asking up in Michigan, do you ever leave a message on your phone when you're setting a phone message?
Appointments, right?
Right.
I do not leave a message until it's the third round of calls for them, which usually means it's about Thursday or Friday. So yes, I do leave a message, but not right away. I really want to talk to them because people feel like they have the power when they call you back, and all of a sudden it becomes this weird dynamic. So the big thing is, I'm a big believer in the first 2 times you call them like 3 times in a row. Because most people aren't answering the phone simply because they don't recognize the number. So call them 3 times in a row, and if they don't pick up, they don't pick up, but don't leave a message like the first 2 times. And then the 3rd time, you go ahead and you just leave a little ticker on each sheet. You print them out, so leave a little ticker. On the 3rd time, then go ahead and leave a message. Not too deep, just, hello, this is Paul Michael. I'm calling about the information you sent in. I know that you need to protect your family and your home. Give me a call, 757-905-9064.
Perfect. No, that's when you've exhausted, and I'll go even sometimes beyond that to go out at least 2 to 3 weeks, because you don't know if you catch people on vacation or if they're sick, but yeah, once you've exhausted it, and you'll get a good gut feeling once you've exhausted that lead. And I'm gonna, like I said, probably put it out to at least 2 or 3 weeks. Then I'll if I have not been able to reach them by a door knock. What I mean by that is to go in and knock on the door before you ever leave that message, because you're right, Paul Michael, as soon as you leave that message, you've now kind of you're in your own heart and mind relinquished that person into, I'm not probably going to ever get a hold of that person, so this is my desperate measure, but I get to those measures too, but I really make sure that lead is exhausted. One maybe last question for you, Paul Michael. Tim out in Pennsylvania was asking, when you get an objection on the phone for that meeting, maybe to give a scenario of how you overcome the objection to meet.
The objection to meet, maybe it's just the way you say it. I don't really get them because, like I said, the way I say it, Tim, real quick, if you don't mind a little role play with me, I'm just going to act like I'm calling you, okay?
You betcha. Josh and I have always done this.
All right. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hello there. Tim?
Yes.
This is, hey, I'm Paul Michael. I'm just giving you a quick call. You sent in the information about the Atlanta mortgage for about $350,000. Was just in reference to protect your family in case you became critically ill, disabled, or if you passed away. Remember sending that in?
Yeah, maybe. It sounds familiar.
Okay. Well, it's got your handwriting on it. Just be upfront with me. Did maybe your wife send it in? Or I see that it says that you're 50, you have somebody younger in the house, maybe inheriting the house, that wrote it for you. It looks like a man's handwriting, though. I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay, quite possibly. Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, this is, the fact of the matter is, I do want you to know I'm going to bring your request in with me. Actually, I have to by company protocol, but I have to bring it with me. So I'll be able to show you in person, so you'll be able to see your own handwriting. But I'm giving you a quick call because regulations do state to afford this to you that I do have to see you in person to assure that you are in walking health, that you are understanding exactly how your program works. Most importantly, that, of course, that you are the owner of 335 Summit Way here in Virginia Beach, just to assure whether it be a residence or a rental property. All right. Just so you know, I'm going to be in your area both tomorrow and Sunday from 11 a.m. Please do listen to this. From 11 a.m. all the way through 10 p.m. They're paying me out to be out there the whole day. So let me know when you have about 15, 20 minutes that you and your wife are going to be home. Are you guys both 9 to 5ers, 7 to 3ers? When are you guys both home?
Well, Michael, that's perfect. That's the essence of what I wanted our agents to hear. Guys, 5 months old in the business. If you are 3 years old in the business, if you are 3 days old in the business, here you've got somebody who is keeping it simple. If you're catching anything from this, Paul Michael has kept it simple. You want to find out a little bit more about his mentor. Josh will actually he's one of our area regional sales managers, and Josh will be on this call a week from today. Paul Michael, you've been very generous with your time. I appreciate you so much, and And you keep up the good work. I love seeing your name on that leaderboard every week, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Have a great afternoon, Paul.
You too.
God bless. You too, buddy.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. Guys, that's all that I can say as far as for those folks who are saying how to do this business. Wow, that is it. I've got several other questions that I'll answer offline, but I always try to keep this within 30 to 45 minutes, and so we're at the 45-minute mark, and I'm going to tell you to be this agent who's making it happen. I want you to be an agent who's making it happen by 3 things. Blow up your income, number 1. Be an agent who's making it happen. Take care of your family. Put your family in the safest neighborhood, in the nicest house that you can. Put your children in the nicest school system that you can. Just don't let somebody dictate to you where your children should be going to school. You control that. And you know what? Number 2 is taken care of by if you take care of number 1. And then I'm going to always come back and say you'll be an agent who's making it happen if you take care of number 3. Because number 3 will take care of number 2 and number 1. Number 3 is you go out to that family in the field who's asking you for mortgage help, who's asking you for benefit help. Next Wednesday, we're going to roll out our last federal employee benefit invitation. We have an academy coming up at the end of this month, October 31st, 1st and 2nd. In order for you to qualify for free leads on the federal program, in order for you to be qualified to learn how to become a federal agent, you must attend an academy. That's going to happen in, goodness, just a short 3 weeks. So we'll send out that invitation yet this afternoon and probably again on Monday to connect on that invitation on Wednesday of next week. You know what my urge and my exhortation to you is, you go out and be an agent who's making it happen. God bless.